books that I picked up was written by a psychoanalyst, and it was about curiosity as an illness, actually. So curiosity leading to, right, more questions, more questions, more questions, and not necessarily a very turned into a neurosis in which they were unable to be productive in life. And maybe that's the way that we have viewed curiosity in the education system or in business systems, etc. But curiosity in, well, let me just say that I believe that I've suffered from that illness because I have a tendency to do a lot of research because I like learning a lot of things. And so I spend a lot of time on the web. Just if I find a topic, I'll immediately know within 30 minutes as much as I possibly can about it and then proceed to learn more about it. But in looking at innovation as an end product or a realized value of that product, creativity, and I was looking at, really what is the core? What's the one factor? What's the one thing that if we can affect this one thing, everything else comes into play? So innovation's a big topic, but in innovation, if you don't have creativity, innovation doesn't really have any direction, right? So there's creativity, and I thought, okay, creativity is where it all starts. But really, when I thought about it or when I looked at it, without curiosity, creativity has no meaning. It has no significance. It has no relevance whatsoever. And the way to think about this is that if the question is not asked, if the offer isn't made, then creativity has no form. Creation happens. Things are growing all the time, right? Or they're moving, or but as far as it having meaning or an actual significance, there's none, unless it's the answer to something that has been asked. And so I was just thinking of the example, even though the apple didn't fall from the tree, and you're like, oh, look, there's the law of gravity. But the fact is that apples have been falling from trees forever, so that's the metaphor that I think of, right? And it wasn't until Newton started asking the question that we now have that story of his aha moment. Oh, that's answering the question that I have in my mind. And now we have an answer to something that really shapes our entire experience and shifts our entire consciousness. So that's kind of, oh, look, I even had a little PowerPoint presentation for you. I got a little nervous when someone said, you don't have anything prepared? But, so is curiosity an illness or is it an opportunity? And it all depends on the tools that we have in order to cultivate that. One of the tools that I thought was fascinating was Charles Warren of Google. Whenever they are designing a product or a new application for Google, we all are familiar with brainstorming. Well, they have a question storm. So they show a video of different real-life events, or might be a specific population, but basically people who are using technology, and then they have a question storm. No one provides an answer. They're not allowed to. You just move question to question to question so that you can then, so you keep it moving, like you were talking about. You don't stop at the mistake and try to backtrack. You actually keep moving forward. So the first divergent process is in getting out as many questions as possible so that you can identify really what's the important answer that we want to find. And if you've heard the phrase, it's our answers are in correlation to the big, if there's a big enough question, we'll get a big enough answer, right? So ask bigger questions, or ask the important questions, or ask the significant questions. So that's how they identify that. And we all know the kind of questions that need to be asked. They need to be open questions, or offensive questions, questions that are going to produce opportunities, but they're questions that actually promote listening. And the other kinds of, and those are the who, what, when, where's, why's, how's that we all know about. The defensive questions, or the questions that close opportunities, are there, is there, or are you, any question that produces a yes or no answer. I'm trying to get you to buy in. I'm almost trying to sell you, and I'm trying to tell you how to respond. So that's the yes, no, or that. So that's the difference between the open and the closed. So they have this huge question storm, and then they identify the questions, and then they go into the convergent process of identifying those, what it is that they're really going to focus on and develop an application out of that. So I'm interested, what role does curiosity play in your visual innovation process? How can we improve the innovation process through visual curiosity? That's my main question.
That was 5-minute warning.